Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Lok Sabha adjourned sine die. Rajya Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. amid disruptions. President Draupadi Murmu to visit Kaziranga National Park on the first day of her 3-day visit to Assam. Monetary Policy Committee maintains repo rate at 6.5%. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das says inflation being monitored closely. India elected to 3 important UN commissions as member. Second G20 Development Working Group meet underway in Kottayam, Kerala. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders will face Royal Challengers Bangalore at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. And now the news in detail. The Lok Sabha has been adjourned sine die today, while the Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 2 p.m. In the Lok Sabha, when the House met this morning, Speaker Om Birla made valedictory remarks, highlighting the work done in the budget session. He said 8 bills were introduced in the House, out of which 6 were passed. The Speaker expressed displeasure over the continuous disruption in the House, saying that the kind of conduct shown is not good for the democratic decorum of the country. He also objected to displaying placards and planned disruptions in the House. When the Speaker was making his remarks, the members from Congress, DMK and others were in the well of the House, raising slogans in support of their demand for the Joint Parliamentary Committee probe into the Adani Group issue. Members from JDU, TMC and others were on their feet. In the Rajya Sabha, when the House met this morning, opposition members including Congress, DMK and others raised their demand for a JPC probe into the Adani Group matter. Members from RJD, Left, TMC, NCP and others were on their feet. Treasury bench members also reiterated their demand, seeking Rahul Gandhi's apology for his remarks. Amid uproar, Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar adjourned the House till 2 p.m. Union Law Minister Kiren Rijiju today attacked the Congress and other opposition parties for disrupting the Parliament. Talking to media outside the Parliament, Mr. Rijiju also accused Congress of trying to create pressure on the judiciary in Surat Court in Rahul Gandhi's defamation case. The minister alleged that the main opposition party neither believes in the Constitution nor respects the law of the country. Meanwhile, the Congress has alleged that it is the ruling party which is not allowing the Parliament to run. Congress and other opposition parties organized a Tiranga march from the Parliament to the Vijay Chowk, demanding a joint parliamentary committee probe on the Adani Group matter, and alleged that the government is avoiding a debate on the matter. President Draupadi Murmu will reach Kaziranga this afternoon on the start of a 3-day visit to Assam. Tomorrow she will inaugurate the Gaj Utsav at Kaziranga, which is being celebrated on the completion of 30 years of elephant conservation in India. A report from our Guwahati correspondent.
The World Heritage Site Kaziranga National Park is fully geared up to host President Draupadi Murmu on her maiden visit to the park. President Murmu is scheduled to undertake Jeep Safari at 4 p.m. this evening at the Bagori Ranch. After that, she will witness the screening of the Oscar-winning documentary Elephant Whisperers along with the Elephant Mahot and other dignitaries. Tonight, President Murmu will also grace the cultural event being organized at Kaziranga. The rich culture and heritage of Assam will be displayed through Bihu, Jumur and Satriya dance performance. Manas Pratim Sharma, AR News, Kaziranga.
The Monetary Policy Committee headed by RBI Governor Shaktikant Das today maintained the key policy rates, announcing the first bi-monthly monetary policy statement for 2023-24. Mr. Das said the Monetary Policy Committee has unanimously decided to keep the repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. Adding that RBI is keeping a close watch on the banking sector in some developed countries and has adopted a prudent approach towards regulation. The RBI governor said the central bank will continue its war against inflation. He added that India's forex reserves stand over $600 billion, up from $524.5 billion in October 2022.
Economic activity remains resilient and real GDP growth is expected to have been 7% in 22-23. Consumer price inflation, however, has increased since December 2022, driven by price pressures on cereals, milk and fruits. Core inflation remains elevated. The monetary policy actions taken since May 2022 are still working through the system. Accordingly, the MPC decided to keep the policy rate unchanged to assess the progress made so far while closely monitoring and evolving the inflation outlook.
The Reserve Bank today announced that it will develop a centralized web portal for the public to search unclaimed deposits to help beneficiaries to get back their deposits. Currently, the depositors and beneficiaries have to go through the websites of multiple banks to locate such deposits. The RBI governor also announced another centralized portal to simplify and streamline the process of seeking a license or any other regulatory approval. Mr. Das said this measure will bring greater efficiencies into the regulatory processes and facilitate ease of doing business. The Delhi High Court today dismissed former Delhi Minister Satyendra Jain's bail plea. The court said he is an influential person and may tamper with evidence. He was arrested on the 30th of May last year by the Enforcement Directorate in a money laundering case. The High Court had reserved the order on Jain's bail plea on 21st of March after hearing arguments of the counsel for the ED and the AAP leader. The Congress Party today released a second list of 42 candidates for the Karnataka Assembly election. The Melukot Assembly constituency has been marked for Sarvodaya Karnataka Party. Congress Party had earlier announced 124 names in its first list of candidates released last month. The elections in the state will be held on the 10th of May in a single phase, and counting of votes will take place on the 13th of May. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today asserted that social justice is not just a political slogan, but an article of faith for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Addressing party workers on the 44th Foundation Day of BJP through video conferencing, he underlined the government's commitment to get rid of corruption, nepotism and law and order problems.
भाजपा सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास के मंत्र के साथ काम कर रही है। भाजपा की कार्यशैली सर्वसमावेशी है, सर्वस्पर्शी है, सर्वजन का हित करने वाली है। सामाजिक न्याय और सशक्तिकरण को हमने हमेशा अपने हृदय में, अपनी कार्यशैली में सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता दी। सामाजिक न्याय ये हमारे लिए राजनीतिक नारेबाजी का हिस्सा नहीं, ये हमारे लिए आर्टिकल ऑफ फेथ है।
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. India has been elected as a member of the UN Statistical Commission, the Commission on Narcotic Drugs, and the Program Coordinating Board of the Joint UN Program on HIV/AIDS or UNAIDS by the Economic and Social Council or ECOSOC of the United Nations. In a tweet, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar congratulated the team of Permanent Mission of India to the United Nations, New York. The Statistical Commission is the highest body dealing with international statistical activities and is responsible for standard setting in the field of statistics. The Commission on Narcotic Drugs supervises the application of international drug control treaties, while the Program Coordinating Board of UNAIDS supports and provides strategic direction for an international response to HIV/AIDS. The Permanent Mission of India to the United Nations in New York said India will strive to make its due contributions in these and other organs in the spirit of advancing multilateral solutions to global challenges. Joint Secretary in the G20 Secretariat and the co-chair of the Data Working Group, Nagaraj Naidu, today stressed the need to look at data from the development perspective and use it for development and public welfare. Inaugurating the side event on data for development at Kumarakam, organized as part of the second G20 Development Working Group meeting, Mr. Naidu observed that data is good only if it is timely, reliable and accessible. He said valuable data is effectively utilized in resource allocation, smart delivery of public services, as well as in public policy making. In a televised address, Suman Berry, Vice Chairman of the Niti Aayog, said digitized data has the power to transform processes, enable policy making, monitor progress, and evaluate efficacy after implementation. In his address, Chief Economist of the World Bank, Indermeet Gill, said World Bank is fully committed to bringing data to work for social, economic and sustainable development and sought the support of the governments to achieve the goals. The second G20 Empowerment and Progression of Women's Economic Representation Empower meeting under India's presidency of the G20 will conclude today in Thiruvananthapuram. The theme of the three-day meeting organized by the Union Ministry of Women and Child Development was Women's Empowerment, a win-win for equity and economy. During the meeting, discussions were held in the areas of women entrepreneurship, leadership development, and financial empowerment. The country has registered over 5,300 new cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The Union Health Ministry said a total of 2,800 people have recovered from COVID during the same period. The ministry said there are over 25,000 active COVID cases in the country and the recovery rate currently stands at 98.75%. The ministry said over 1,900 vaccine doses of COVID were administered during the last 24 hours. Over 220 crore 66 lakh vaccine doses have been administered across the country so far. The Ministry of Home Affairs has issued an advisory to all states in view of Hanuman Jayanti today. It has asked all state governments to ensure maintenance of law and order, peaceful observance of the festival, and monitoring of any factors that could disturb the communal harmony in society. The advisory comes in view of recent incidents of clashes in West Bengal and Bihar during Ram Navami celebrations. Incidents of violence, arson, and stone pelting were reported in these states. The foreign ministers of Iran and Saudi Arabia met in Beijing today in the first formal meeting of the two countries' top diplomats in 7 years. After years of hostility that had fueled conflicts across the Middle East, Tehran and Riyadh agreed to end their diplomatic rift and reopen embassies in a major deal facilitated by China last month. Saudi Arabia's state-run broadcaster released a brief footage of the meeting on Twitter showing Prince Faisal bin Farhan and his Iranian counterpart Hossein Amir Abdullahian shaking hands and smiling in front of a traditional Chinese painting as well as the flags of their respective countries. In IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders will face Royal Challengers Bangalore at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. The match will start at 7:30 this evening. Yesterday, Punjab Kings beat Rajasthan Royals by 5 runs at Badasapara Cricket Stadium in Guwahati. Chasing a victory target of 198 runs, Rajasthan Royals scored 192 for the loss of 7 wickets in stipulated 20 overs. Batting first, Punjab posted a huge total of 197 for 4. In European football, Real Madrid beat arch-rivals Barcelona 4-0 to reach the Copa del Rey final, riding on a Karim Benzema hat-trick. This is the first time since January 1995 that Real Madrid defeated Barcelona by a 4-goal margin. Barcelona, who were looking for a 4th successive Clásico victory this season, looked set for the final, having edged a 1-0 win in the first leg of the semi-final in Madrid last month. But after dominating the early stages of the second leg, they fell apart in an unlikely fashion to lose 4-1 on aggregate. And now, before the end, the bulletin, the headlines once again. Lok Sabha adjourned sine die. Rajya Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. amidst disruptions. President Draupadi Murmu to visit Kaziranga National Park on the first day of a 3-day visit to Assam. Monetary Policy Committee maintains repo rate at 6.5%. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das says inflation being monitored closely. India elected to 3 important UN commissions as member. Second G20 Development Working Group meet underway in Kottayam, Kerala. And in IPL cricket, Kolkata Knight Riders will face Royal Challengers Bangalore at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. And with that, we end the midday news.